Hey everyone, YouTube's DOT physical expert Dr. Nuesse back again with another video, and this one is on compliance data. So what is compliance data? Compliance data is information that you need to bring in to your DOT physical before we can medically certify you. This can come in the form of a letter from a doctor, or sometimes it's actually testing information that we need before, again, we are able to medically clear you to drive. All right, and I'm going to give you the top three. There's three main conditions that make up about 99% of the times when you will need to actually bring in this data to your DOT physical. And the purpose of this video is to save drivers time. Often what is going to happen is you're going to come in to get your medicals done. You'll have one of these conditions or one of these situations. We will need the compliance data. We won't be able to certify you when you're there getting your physical done. We'll have to send you away either back to your doctor or to go get this data, and then you'll have to come back. So if you can walk in with this data and you're already prepared, then we can actually most likely certify you right there on the spot. It just saves you some time, and time is crucial if your medicals are about to expire, if your medical card is going to expire. So that's the reason for this video. That's the reason I make most of my videos, is I want drivers to be informed. So please stay subscribed to this channel, hit the bell notification icon, because the FMCSA often changes medical standards. I don't want drivers going in and being hit with some curveball that they weren't aware about. When the FMCSA changes standard, they don't notify drivers, they notify the physicians. So I will make update videos, so please stay subscribed here. Okay, so the three main medical situations that will require this compliance data, and I will go actually in order of what I see most commonly all the way down to what I see least commonly. So the most common situation, this is by and far the most common I see in my office, is a driver will come in and they're on a particular medication. So there are a number of prescription medications, and just because you have a prescription, the FMCSA, the Department of Transportation, still has this banned list where you cannot drive if you are taking a particular medication. Now, there are a whole bunch of medications on this list. I'll actually leave a link in the description box below with a complete list. But just kind of a general overview is these are medications that the FMCSA determines can be abused or used negligently. Think of things, and a lot of the medication types are pain medications or psychiatric medications. So with these medications, you are going to need a letter from the prescribing doctor, basically just saying that it's safe for you to drive. And I'll show you an example of one of those letters. So this example letter, it's very simple. It's 2 sentences. Mr. Smith is taking the medication, and in my medical opinion, it is safe for him to drive a motor vehicle. Very, very simple, very straightforward. That's really all we need. As long as the medical examiner doesn't find anything else that would disqualify you, typically they will accept this letter. Now, it is certainly up to the medical examiner's discretion to accept this letter, but speaking from my experience, I would almost always accept a letter like this from a prescribing doctor, again, as long as I feel that it's safe for you to be on the road. All right, and secondly on this list, another biggie, one that I see a lot, probably a couple times a week in my office, is CPAP compliance data. Now, what is this? So this isn't a letter from a doctor. This is actually data that you get from your CPAP machine. So if you have sleep apnea and you've been prescribed to wear a CPAP machine when sleeping, you're going to check a particular box that says this, and then we will ask you about it. And if you're using a CPAP machine, we are going to need to see compliance data to be able to medically certify you. And there's actually certain parameters that you need to fit into. And I've done a complete video on sleep apnea and the FMCSA and commercial driving. I'll leave a link to that video up here. But let me just show you what that compliance data will look like. All right, so this is just an example. Yours may look a little bit different. It's going to have a date range up top, and a lot of times what we are looking for is what they've got highlighted here. It's 90 days. It can be anywhere from 30 to about 90 days of what we are looking for. And then the other thing thing that we are looking for is this percentage of days with usage over 4 hours. And the FMCSA has a very clear standard here. This example just happens to say 88.9%. The FMCSA standard is 70% minimum. So if you fall below 70% of the days in any given period where you use it 4 hours or more per night, we are not going to be able to certify you until you get your data above that point. So that is very, very clear from the FMCSA. It's very, very important that you keep that over 4 hours of night usage over 70% of the nights in any given period. But again, if you have this data, you present it at the time of your DOT physical, then we can accept it right there. You don't have to go out and then get it and come back and then us review it and all that rigmarole that can delay your certification. So sleep apnea and the CPAP compliance data is a very, very big one. That is number 2 on the list. All right, and rounding out the 3, number 3, and I don't see this one too often, but it does come up from time to time, is if a driver has a history of having a stroke. So again, the FMCSA is very clear about this. Now, if you've had a stroke, there is a waiting period. Even if a doctor clears you to drive, the minimum amount of time that you need to wait after that stroke before you can be medically cleared to drive is 1 year. And if you're at risk for having a seizure, if a neurologist thinks you're at risk for having a seizure, the minimum waiting period is going to be 5 years. So even if they clear you, the certified medical examiner cannot clear you. There is no medical letter that we can use to clear you. You have to wait at least a year after you've had a stroke before you can drive, and maybe up to 5 years. All right, so once you've fulfilled whatever waiting period applies to you, then again, we will need a neurologist specifically to clear you in this case. Now let me show you what that letter might look like. All right, so here it is again, very, very simple and straightforward. Again, it doesn't have to be complex. It's on their medical letterhead, and it says, Mr. Smith has a history of a stroke in January of 2005. Again, I'm just making up dates here. And in my medical opinion, it is safe for him to operate a motor vehicle. Very straightforward. So it doesn't need to be any complex, why you had a stroke or anything else, really. It just needs to state that it's safe for you to operate a motor vehicle. What the FMCSA is trying to do is prevent people from having another stroke while on the road and then causing a big accident. So this compliance data, again, I will often accept if a person has had a stroke and has completed the waiting period that applies to them, again, as long as I don't feel there are any other reasons why they would be dangerous on the road. So if any of those 3 situations apply to you and you're going in to get your Department of Transportation, your DOT physical done, please just take a little bit of time and get the data and bring it in with you. Your certified medical examiner that you go to is going to be impressed. Whenever somebody comes in and brings the data with them and I don't have to tell them to go out and get it, I know they're on top of their game. So bring it in with you. It'll save you some time. All right, drivers. Until next time, stay safe.